Welcome, fellow battle enthusiasts. In light of the recent death battle featuring Darth Vader versus Obito, we can't wait to share our take on this epic matchup, so we've put together this video to express our thoughts and dive into the analysis. Before we begin, let's clarify the approach we're taking. We'll be sticking strictly to the feats demonstrated by the characters, considering actions that can be casually performed more heavily than one-time accomplishments. A perfect example of this concept is when Spider-Man managed to defeat Fire Lord. Sure, he won the fight, but some might argue it was more of a plot-induced stupidity, or PSI. Nevertheless, this analysis is all in good fun. As the great Stan Lee once said, the outcome of the fight often boils down to the will of the author. So with that in mind, let's get right into it and meet our contenders for this showdown. On one side, we have the Sith, infamous for their lethal lightsaber techniques and mastery of the Force, granting them the power to potentially bend reality to their will. And on the other side, the Uchiha clan, renowned for their awe-inspiring Sharingan, seeking to harness the infinite Tsukiyomi's power to reshape reality according to their desires. The Uchiha clan, renowned for their prowess in the world of ninjutsu, hold a distinguished position in the Naruto anime and manga series. As one of the founding clans of the Hidden Leaf Village, their expertise in fire-based techniques makes them formidable opponents in battle. At the core of the Uchiha strength is their unique ability, the Sharingan. This red and black adorned with evolving tomoe patterns as the user grows stronger grants heightened perception, the ability to anticipate an opponent's movements, and the skill to copy and memorize various jutsu techniques. The true power of the Sharingan is unlocked through the Mangekyo Sharingan, which can only be achieved through intense emotional trauma, often associated with the loss of a loved one. This advanced form grants access to powerful and unique abilities, but at the cost of irreversible blindness with prolonged use. To overcome this tragic side effect, an Uchiha may undergo a risky procedure, transplanting the eyes of a close relative with Mangekyo Sharingan, resulting in the highly sought-after Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. However, this pursuit of power can lead to a cycle of violence and ultimately became the downfall of the clan. One of the most formidable Uchiha in history was Madara Uchiha, a figure of unparalleled strength who orchestrated his own death and lived on through his apprentice Obito. Together they pursued their ambitions for years before being reunited. Today, these two iconic members carry on the will of fire as they engage in an intense battle with the Sith. Within the vast expanse of the Star Wars universe, the Sith emerge as an ancient and malevolent order of Force-sensitive beings. Known for their embrace of the dark side, a seductive and potent energy, they wield immeasurable power drawn from passion, aggression, and unwavering ambition. Their relentless quest revolves around obtaining absolute dominion over the galaxy. Tracing back millennia before the events depicted in the Star Wars films, the Sith originated as a group of dark side users who defied the teachings of the Jedi Order on the Force. Over time, they evolved into a structured organization often governed by a Sith Council or individual Sith Lord. At the heart of their belief lies the Rule of Two, a timeless principle established by the Sith Lord Darth Bane. This guiding rule dictates that only two Sith can exist simultaneously, a master and an apprentice. By adhering to this doctrine, the Sith ensure the consolidation of their power while cultivating an environment where the apprentice is driven to overthrow their master, seizing the coveted title of Sith Lord. Throughout history, the Sith have clashed relentlessly with the Jedi Order, their ultimate ambition being the subjugation of the galaxy and eradication of their Jedi counterparts. Fearlessly employing deception, manipulation, and outright violence, they are unyielding in their pursuit of victory. Sharpened through the crucible of their brutal ideology, the Sith acquire newfound strength, giving rise to two of the most potent members in their history, Darth Vader and Darth Sidious. Can the power of the dark side conquer their will of fire? To ensure a fair matchup, we'll first compare apprentices to apprentices and masters to masters. Following that, we'll analyze the teams as a whole. We'll be considering both legends and canon feats for Sith Lords, making this debate all the more intriguing. Moreover, we'll be evaluating the characters at their strongest, but not at their most overpowered. For instance, Madara won't be in his Edo Tensei form, despite its virtual indestructibility, as it's weaker than when he's alive. Some of you might have come across our short video where we playfully joked about how Death Battle granted Obito access to 10 tails, suggesting Vader should have had access to the Death Star to balance the scales. This was obviously a joke, and we will not be giving the Sith access to it in this battle. But for people who think anyone in the Narutoverse can tank a Death Star laser need to get off the copium because no one in Naruto scales to planet-busting durability. In Death Battle, they examined the feats of both characters, which is perfectly fine, but they delved into some strange calculations as they often do. For instance, Toph defeating Gaara seems unlikely. Even if Toph has an advantage in Earth control, Gaara could still outmaneuver her with Taijutsu as he was able to hold his own against Momoshiki before he transformed. Death Battle appears to make this mistake with Naruto power scaling consistently. For example, they have Obi-Wan defeating Kakashi, even stating that
spirit briefly possessed his body. Even if he did, the results probably wouldn't change much.
However, DMS Kakashi is ridiculously powerful and has more impressive feats than Madara and Obito. By Death Battle's own scaling, Darth Vader, who is stronger than Obi-Wan, should have defeated Obito. But that's not what happened at all. In any case, for Star Wars, it is clear that Vader is stronger than Obi-Wan, and for Naruto, it's clear that DMS Kakashi is stronger than Jubi, Madara, and Jubito. It's crucial to understand that when people think of Star Wars, they usually refer to movies primarily, and then maybe the Dave Filoni-verse or Disney canon for dedicated fans. However, characters portrayed in live-action movies tend to be less powerful than their comic book counterparts. The medium's limitation affects the scope of their feats, making it harder to display the same level of power seen in animations or comic books. For instance, characters like Mace Windu would never be able to perform feats like this. In live-action films, but they can in most other forms of media. In a fight between Vader and Obito, speed would be the main factor, as both characters have numerous ways to defeat the other. However, Genjutsu or mind alteration would not be effective. The only Genjutsu that might work on Vader is Tsukiyomi, but Obito never demonstrated this ability. Also, Genjutsu has been shown to be dispelled by outside sources. As the Force is simultaneously internal and external power, we can assume that Genjutsu of any kind would not work on Vader, as his affinity for the Force is ridiculously high, since he was born from it. Even if you argue that only chakra can break Genjutsu, Vader has been trained to master his mind to the point where he was able to hide his intentions of killing the Emperor to save Luke. This is impressive because Palpatine's telepathic abilities scale slightly below Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. Another thing for this fight is it is important to remember that no character besides Pain has shown all 6 paths of the Rinnegan. Even Sasuke and Boruto has yet to showcase all 6 paths, so speculating that they can use abilities they have never shown is a bit of a stretch. For example, if Sasuke could use the human path soul-sucking ability, it would have killed Naruto in their final fight, leading to the belief that Sasuke can't use it. In my headcanon, Nagato, having possessed the Rinnegan for an extended period, was able to utilize it to its full potential. As in Uzumaki, he could efficiently employ all paths at once without having to worry about chakra depletion. Let's determine which character is faster by scaling their speed based on other characters with similar or lower abilities. For example, Darth Maul's speed is said to be so extraordinary that holo recording struggled to capture his movements, necessitating slow motion playback. Another example of speed is how Jedi and Sith casually deflect blaster fire. The speed of blaster fire is difficult to pinpoint, as I found 2 different sources, but there is no definitive answer. One source states that the bolt travels around 100 to 200 miles per hour for an average of 150 miles per hour. The second source states that in the Star Wars universe, blasters fire invisible energy beams at light speed, with the visible bolt effect being a glowing pulse traveling along the beam at less than light speed. This phenomenon depletes the overall energy content of the beam, limiting its range. Turbo blasters, for example, fire energy beams at the speed of light, enabling them to engage in long-range combat. So as we can see, blaster bolts range from 100 miles per hour to light speed. While I love Star Wars, I think light speed blaster fire is a bit of a wank. But I would say they are faster than the speed of sound and could possibly approach light speed, but it is not actually reaching it. Even with the conservative estimates placing blasters at 100 miles per hour in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, Obi-Wan Kenobi showcases remarkable skill and speed as he deftly blocks thousands of blaster bolts during an intense battle. This is a quote from the novel. His blade flicked out and the Durasteel beam parted, fresh cut edges glowing white hot, and a great hulk of a ship-sized cargo container that the beam had been supporting tore free of its other supports with shrieks of anguished metal and crashed down upon all 3 Magna Guards with the finality of a meteor strike. 2, 3, and 4. Oh, thought Obi-Wan with detached approval. That worked out rather well. Only 10,000 more to go, give or take. An instant later, the Force had him hurling through a storm of blaster fire as every combat droid in the control center opened up on him at once. Letting go of intention, letting go of desire, letting go of life, Obi-Wan fixed his entire attention on a thread of the Force that pulled him towards Grievous. Not where Grievous was, but where Grievous would be. If 10,000 droids fire blasts at 100 miles per hour, Obi-Wan's reaction speed would be approximately 277.78 miles per second. This is a significant feat, but it falls far short or even half the speed of light, of approximately 93,143 miles per second. Vader, who is considered to be more powerful than Obi-Wan and Maul, so his reaction speeds would be at least 277.78 miles per second, and can possibly be interpreted as faster than light speed. Now, some of you might be thinking if we lowball Vader, then Obito can obviously speed blitz him, right? Since Jubito scales to faster than light speed. This is where Naruto falls apart a bit. The issue lies in the lack of clear light speed or higher feats for Naruto characters. While databooks claim light speed attacks, there is limited on-screen evidence to support this claim. Some fans point to a specific scene where Naruto dodges a lightning attack, assuming it as a light speed feat. However, the source is dubious as it's taken from a databook. Now, why are databooks dubious? Well, because they claim things that are clearly untrue all the time. For example, here is Kakashi being omnipotent and Hokage Naruto having lower stats than the new Team 7. Relying on actual feats and evidence is essential for accurate assessment when comparing characters from different fictional universes. So, if characters in Naruto are not light speed, how fast is Obito? Unfortunately, we don't have a plethora of speed feats, but we do have some basic information. For example, we know he is much faster than lightning, as Kakashi was able to cut lightning as a child. Lightning moves at approximately 72 miles per second. Now, with scaling, Obito in his base form is many speed tiers higher than that. In fact, we can easily apply a 10 times multiplier to that number, putting lowball speeds of around 720 miles per second. Now, for argument's sake, we will highball him to the max, so let's assume for a second that he could be faster than light speed. The main arguments for him would be here when he blitzes the first and second Hokage in this picture. He also dodges the Raikage's attack here in base. Wankers claim the Raikage is light speed, so again, for argument's sake, we will say that Obito in base is also light speed. When he becomes the 10-tailed Jinchuriki, his abilities are amplified to the limit. Observing the Kyuubi's chakra being about 100 times more than Kakashi's, and considering that Naruto has half of the Kyuubi's chakra, full Kyuubi chakra is approximately 200 times stronger than Kakashi. Some fans believe a theory that the Sage of Six Paths continuously divided the 10-tails chakra to create the other 9-tailed beasts. While this theory isn't confirmed, it seems to make sense canonically, as half the Kyuubi appears stronger than 8 tails, which is considered the second strongest tailed beast by feats. So going by fan canon, we can estimate that the 10 tails has about 400 times more chakra than Kakashi, as that would be double the max Kyuubi. We'll even throw in an extra 100 times multiplier, as it is more than speculated that all the tailed beasts combined could not beat 10 tails. So this would make Jubito 500 times faster than Lightspeed with max wank. Unfortunately for Naruto fans, by taking Obi-Wan's feats from the novel and wanking it, we have him dodging 10,000 droids blasting at him with lightspeed blaster fire. Even if we divide it by 10, it still places his reaction speed at 1,000 times that of lightspeed, which is double Obito's max speed. On the low end, we said Obito had 720 miles per second speeds. If we grant him a 500 amplifier from the 10 tails, we get a speed of 360,000 miles per second, almost double the speed of light. Even for the lowball, we will grant him the boost, even though it is yet to be stated that his stats get multiplied that much. We claim that the Obi-Wan lowball was around 277.78 miles per second. In this clip from The Force Unleashed, we see Vader beating Proxy, who at the time was a copy of peak Obi-Wan from Revenge of the Sith, meaning he is faster than when he fought Grievous. So we will say 300 miles per second top speed to be conservative. Vader does not stress himself there, so let's give Vader 10x speed of Obi-Wan. Using the same logic from Obito being a 10x multiple from Kakashi as a child, this places Vader in the lowball speed of approximately 3,000 miles per second. I already know what some of you are going to say. We should amp Jubito more since Jinchuriki should be stronger than their tail beast counterparts. So let's give him more amps for the RINNEGAN and for him being a Jinchuriki. We'll give him another 20 times his speed, which will give him equal speeds to that of max Obi-Wan feats, which Vader would still scale above. The multiples could be argued back and forth, but really it's nonsense past a certain point. I would say both characters are relative to each other, with Vader getting the majority. Being a bit faster is all Vader would need in a fight to completely decimate his opponent, as he is incredibly strong with the Force. And now, for those of you who do not think Vader has the power to take out Obito, then, even in the new show, Vader holds a ship and brings it down as it's about to take off. This is Disney canon. In Legends, he is much more powerful than this with his telekinesis or TK abilities. This means Obito either gets Force choked or decimated with a lightsaber. In a more serious note, overall, Vader takes the majority. The only thing Obito has over Vader is better hacks, but he has lower stats in almost every other category, including firepower. The biggest feat we have from Naruto is in the last movie where he tanks a moon-busting attack. This is what Vader says about the Death Star.
Out of this technological terror you've constructed, the ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
This claim is from the first movie, so it should hold more weight than any other source. He specifies that destroying a planet is insignificant. I'm not saying that Vader can bust a planet, but the Emperor holds Vader in higher regard than the Death Star, so to me, he is more powerful, or at least he has the potential to be. Nothing in Naruto comes close to the Death Star, so I feel like Vader would consider Obito insignificant as well. With the apprentices out of the way, how do the masters stack up against each other? First, let's look at Madara. He outclasses Obito in every field except for hacks, as Kamui is probably the most broken ability in Naruto. He knocked around the tailed beasts like they were flies and captured them in record time. All of the Akatsuki members took years to capture them, and they always did so 2v1. Madara is against 9 of them, and won easily. In his Edo state, he was able to casually summon meteors. In his perfect Susanoo, he is capable of pulling off ridiculous feats such as this. We can even elaborate on this feat and say a fight between Prime First Hokage and Madara would destroy a country. With that being said, on their own, I would doubt either could destroy a country by themselves. But battling at their max potential, they could. Madara is a villain that actually kind of completes his goals, as he manages to enact the infinite Tsukiyomi on everyone except for Kakashi, Obito, and Team 7. This level of Genjutsu puts him as the best Genjutsu user in the series, as Naruto population could be estimated to be at multiple millions, at max a billion people. As I said before, all of his feats include speed scale above Obito. He has access to all chakra types, but prefers yin release lightning styles, is an expert in taijutsu, and is smarter than most characters in the show. I would even give Jubi Madara the edge over Darth Vader in heavy majority. With that said, Vader's master is a whole other ballpark. Like Madara, Sidious mostly succeeds his plan. He cleansed the galaxy of the Jedi, leaving only a handful of survivors, which Vader hunted down. By the time of A New Hope, the only Force wielders capable of challenging him are 2 old Jedis, Yoda and Kenobi, and 2 of Vader's offspring that have no Jedi experience, Luke and Leia. Like Madara, not getting rid of all of his enemies eventually led to his downfall.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Or so we thought. This is obviously funny, but in the comics they explain it better. In legend books and comics, Palpatine had made multiple clone bodies and was so powerful in the dark side he was able to transfer his soul from one body to the next. In fact, he was so powerful he needed to do this just to keep on living. As we see in this scene, he was so powerful in the dark side it was destroying and breaking down his body. Just off this feat alone, Sidious is more or less unkillable for the Uchiha. Madara could possibly seal him or use the truth-seeing orb, but beyond that, if we grant Sidious his ability, he is unkillable. So we will take this feature away from him, just like we took away Edo from Madara. Even without his soul transfer powers, Palpatine is a monster from his crazy TK feats, such as hiding his intentions from the Jedi Council for years and casually putting Vader in his place by killing his mount when he tried to attack him. Like Madara, Sidious's favorite way of attacking are through lightning attacks. Sidious's Force Lightning is so powerful in the dark side that it has a purple coloring to it. This purple lightning is also able to cook people instantly. It is also more than likely the inspiration behind Kakashi's purple lightning in Boruto. Sidious was also the only known being capable of producing a Force Storm of his own power, a dark side technique which he himself discovered, and that had enough power to kill an entire world. Using his anger and his will, he was able to rip apart the space-time continuum and create a hyperspace wormhole. However, even though he claimed to have quickly achieved the mastery needed to conjure a storm simply by willing it, he openly admitted that at the early stages of his discovery and subsequently learning of this power, even he was not even fully able to control it and had full confidence he would ultimately acquire the ability to achieve complete control over the storms he created with more practice. By 10 ABY, indeed the Emperor appeared to have mastered the technique to the level needed to be fully capable of controlling a Force Storm, to the point that he was able to send out several storms at a whim, and a singularly fully powered storm required the combination or combined efforts of Luke, Leia, and the unborn Anakin Solo through the light side to turn to the dark side creation against him. This power is wacky and scaling it is hard, but it could be planet level to possibly star level. And if that is not enough, the Emperor's scariest power is the ability to channel the collective life essence of billions of people to sustain himself and the dark side of depths. His victims would live in a dreamlike state while his own power grew. The entire population of Bis lived under this spell until the planet's destruction by the Galaxy Gun. This feat completely outclasses Madara's Genjutsu feat. Even the infinite Tsukiyomi does not compare, as Sidious can do things like from many light years away. One fan theory is that Sidious killed Padme through the Force. This makes more sense than her dying of a broken heart. Like Madara, after absorbing the Ten Tails, Darth Sidious has the power of flight. While kind of through the Force, he is able to hover above the ground in standard gravity. While he does this, he is also capable of surrounding himself in a miniature storm of malevolent Force energy that slowed the movements of and tortured all caught in it. In terms of combat ability, he is more or less equal to Grandmaster Luke Skywalker, who is also able to do this. Not even a black hole could move Luke in that moment. Just that statement alone makes Luke more impressive than anything in the Naruto verse. Even in Disney, Sidious casually beats Maul and Oppress, outclassing them in every single way, and because he is a sick fuck, he decided to toy with them even for a bit, even though he could have ended the fight right away here. Another feat rarely mentioned was Plagueis is stated to be so powerful in the dark side that when he visited Naboo, they experienced the longest winter ever. Sidious scales higher than his old master, so he could easily do this if he did not keep his powers
Furthermore,
in check. When Sidious killed his master, he was so steeped in the dark side that stars trembled before him. With all the data at our disposal, I think it's fair to say even when we take away Sidious's soul transferability, he is still too much for Madara. So there you have it, folks. The epic battle between Sidious and Vader against Madara and Obito has come to an end. As we've seen it, the dark power of the Sith put them on a whole different level compared to anything the Uchiha have shown in the Naruto series. Sidious, with his incomprehensible power and mastery of the dark side, has proven to be ridiculously overpowered in Legends lore. His reflexes and devastating force abilities make him a force to be reckoned with. And let's not forget Vader, a formidable adversary with the lightsaber combat skills and deep connection with the Force. Though Madara and Obito are undoubtedly strong and have their own impressive abilities, they simply couldn't match the overwhelming might of the Sith duo. The Dark Lords take this one in a heavy majority. But hey, the beauty of Death Battle is that it ignites passionate debate amongst fans. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Did you enjoy this epic clash of universes? Would you like to see an animated version of this battle? Your feedback is essential to us. And let me say thank you to anyone and everyone who has made it this far in the video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to stay updated with more exciting matchups and battles from different universes. Until next time, may the Force be with you and happy debating.